pleasant morning, guys. So we all know that a masterpiece usually comes from a great amount of emotions or story. But aside from that, a masterpiece is also a masterpiece because of its structure. And actually, that's what we're gonna discuss for today.
The poem is I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by Sir William Wordsworth, right?
Yes. Oh, mind if you start with the discussion?
Sure, but before we start, my fellow students, dear group mates, if you want to add something or help with the discussion, you're very welcome to do so. Now I'll start first with the stanza. A stanza in poetry is the division of 4 or more lines consisting of a fixed length, meter, or rhyming scheme. A stanza is very similar to a paragraph in prose. It is a unit composed of lines that relates to a similar thought or topic, like a paragraph in prose or a verse in a song. Every stanza has its own concept and serves a unique purpose.
Oh, and stanzas may be arranged according to the rhyming scheme, pattern, and meter, the syllabic bits of a line. I'm gonna go back to that later. It can be also a free-flowing verse with no formal structure. In the poem, the author has 4 stanzas. Each stanza has 6 lines. That means the poem has a total of 24 lines.
Mind if I read and try to analyze the stanzas?
No problem.
Yeah, we'll help you.
Great! First stanza. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on higher vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of a golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The persona in the first stanza was trying to say when he wandered outside, he was alone and he had no friends. The joy that the beauty of nature brought lightened his mood, the simplicity of flower dancing to the beats of air. That's the only thing that reminded him, maybe he's not alone, and the world is not lonely after all. Indeed, a masterpiece.
Now, let's move on to the second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance.
I believe in the second stanza, the author relates the stars and the daffodils' flowers. They are scattered and shines in the garden. The flowers stretch continuously, without a break, like the stars in the Milky Way galaxy, each one gleaming like a star. The flowers line the shore, margin, of a bay of the lake, which must be a relatively large lake. Then he talks about the 10,000 daffodils, who is sprightly or playfully dancing.
Wow, it's really good. Let's see what the third stanza has for us. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me hath brought.
While the third stanza did start to the romantic age, where romantics value and appreciate the beauty of nature, it is also the source of joy.
Okay, now, I'm 100% convinced that Sir William is a genius. But then, this is his last stanza. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then when my heart with pleasure fills, and danced with the daffodils.
Lastly, the fourth stanza means that while sitting in the couch resting, while in the sober mood, the sweet memories of the daffodils flashed. That memories became a source of joy in a state of his isolation. His heart is filled with happiness, and his spirit is dancing with the daffodils.
That's really amazing, come to think that we're only starting. Let's try exploring the other parts that make this poem even better as a whole.
What about meter? It is a basic arithmetic structure of a line within a poem or poetic work. Meter constitutes as a means of imposing a specific number of syllables and emphasis when it comes to a line of poetry that adds to its musicality. It consists of a number of syllables and the pattern of emphasis on those syllables. 1 foot is what we call a monometer. 2 feet is a dimeter. 3 feet is trimeter. 4 feet is tetrameter. And will you please help me out, guys?
Okay, 5 feet is pentameter.
6 feet is hexameter, while 7 feet is septameter.
And lastly, 8 feet is octameter.
As we observe in the poem, each line has 8 syllables in alternating stress and unstressed accents. Putting this into account, we can affirm that it is written in iambic tetrameter. An iamb is a type of meter that follows the pattern of an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable.
Now, let's talk about rhyme.
Rhyme is what?
Rhyme in poetry, in which identical or similar concluding syllables in different words are repeated. Rhyme most often occurs at the end of poetic lines. Here are the rhymes which can be found in the end of every lines of the poem. For the first stanza, cloud, crowd, hills, daffodils, and trees, breeze. While the second stanza has shine, line, way, bay, and glance, dance. Can you help me in identifying the others? Mon, Angela.
Oh, the third has they, gay, glee, company, and thought brought.
For the fourth stanza, there's lie, I, mood, solitude, and feels daffodils.
Wait, there's still another one.
What is it?
Line break. A line break is the termination of one line of poetry and the beginning of a new line. Some additional key details about line breaks are that it also divides poems into lines, and the length of the lines determines the appearance of the poem on the page. Long and skinny, short and wide, or a shape entirely its own.
The author used comma to break the lines in the poem. Also, he used the rhyming technique to end every line nicely or with style, not just by leaving it with any word.
I think that we have already figured out the main structure and the hidden ideas behind the poem. Perhaps it's now the time to end our discussion.
We have heard different insights from each and everyone. The analysis and explanations are on point. It's very impressive. Great work, everyone. I am Jana Luis Gonzalez, the leader of Group 4. Thank you so much, and again, a pleasant morning to us all.